Why, then, is this ceasefire brokered by the Russians not holding?
Yeah, well, there is absolutely no question about that. It is most certainly not holding. There's fighting going on in the north and the northeastern part of the front line and in the south. Those prisoner exchanges that were meant to have taken place have not taken place at all. The exchange of the dead, which was meant to have taken place, has not taken place at all. And there are quite simply no peace talks either. The Armenian Foreign Minister, Zorak Natsakanyan, was in Moscow on Monday for talks with his Russian counterpart. He said that Armenia wants a ceasefire and wants it to be verifiable. And it seems likely in the present circumstance that that pretty much does sum up the Armenian position. They're on the defensive in this conflict at the moment. They would like to see it brought to an end. They would like to see the Minsk group of the OSCE, Russia, France, and the United States take over negotiations for peace and get things back on track as they were before this fighting started. On the other hand, seen from an Azeri perspective, there doesn't seem an awful lot of interest in achieving peace, in going to peace talks at this stage, whilst the situation on the battleground remains inconclusive. They haven't gone to this conflict, in other words, started this offensive in the expectation that they would get nothing at the end. So they want to see solid, concrete gains, which would mean, presumably, the return of the 7 districts occupied by Nagorno-Karabakh Armenian forces since 1994, as well as Karabakh itself. I think Karabakh itself is out of the question. They're not going to get it back in this round of fighting, but they'll certainly want something from those districts. And they're being backed by Turkey. The Turkish Defense Minister, Hulusi Akar, said on Monday to his Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu that Turkey is backing the Azeri offensive. Given that, it's very difficult to see where peace negotiations are going to go at this stage.
And Rob, while your analysis is as ever thorough and wide-reaching, there is, and we were discussing this, a lack of reliable information coming out of the area, but lots of propaganda. Why is this happening?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely correct. It's very, very difficult for journalists, in particular foreign journalists, to get anywhere near to the front lines at the moment. And it's also, it has to be said, extremely hazardous. You know, those who are in situ, in towns, considerably back from the front lines, are being fired on a lot of the time. 6 journalists have been wounded in the fighting through artillery exchanges. But, you know, we do know some things. We do know, for instance, because the fighting is still going on, that the Azeris presumably have not yet gained all their objectives. And we do know that losses on both sides have been extensive. The Armenian side in particular, the Nagorno-Karabakh Armenian side, has suffered 500 deaths amongst its soldiers in this fighting. That is an enormous number, given the fact that the total population of Nagorno-Karabakh is only 150,000 people. Now, of course, we know that there are Armenian volunteers coming in from Armenia itself and from abroad as well. But nevertheless, that is a very considerable loss. We know, too, that the Azeris in this conflict, this round of the conflict, have a clear technological advantage, particularly in the use of Turkish TB2 drones, which have had a big impact on the battlefield. A lot of destruction of Armenian artillery pieces, tanks, and so on and so forth. And we know, of course, that the Azeris have a numerical advantage. But we also know that the efficiency of the Armenian Karabakhi forces is pretty good by comparison with the Azeris. They do seem to be holding their defensive line. That's very frustrating for the Azeris. And unless they achieve substantial gains soon, they're going to be forced back to the peace table.
Robert Parsons, our Chief Foreign Editor. Thank you, sir, very much indeed for joining us.